Hi, friends. Erin Koss here from Site Consulting Group. Today I was thinking about the topic I wanted to talk about today, which had to do with how do we think about, want to talk about going back to work now that we're kind of been cleared to do so. And unfortunately, we've also been dealing with the fact that the number of cases of COVID are going up now. Now that most states have rolled out of phase two, so to speak, people are back out in the public more than they were before, and we're seeing cases spike. And so it's been interesting because as we were planning to talk today about the things to think about as we go back to work, we're in fact seeing our clients are pulling back on going back to work. Our manufacturing clients who have been running a hybrid environment where much of their corporate staff has gone home to work, leaving the plant production to social distance and give them a little more room, but also because they are essential to our economy and needed to stay moving and on site. They've never gone home, but we have cleared some space for them for sure in order for them to keep moving. And the idea was to bring the corporate staff back this week, and we're seeing our manufacturing clients saying, oh man, we can't do that. And in fact, when they did, right after they had made moves to do that, we saw one client actually, because of the phase two rollout, because people are contracting the virus at a higher rate right now, we were seeing our manufacturing shop floor, some manufacturing clients with production employees who have contracted the virus. And so now we're worried about getting everybody back together again and making things worse. So we've got folks kind of staying status quo in the manufacturing sector, at least with our small and mid-sized clients now. On the services side, people were thinking, hey, if we social distance and we're wearing masks, we can all go back to the office. And we're seeing some of those folks hold back as well. And so the thing I kind of was pivoting with today, as I've been thinking about this and just how to kind of pivot our conversation a little bit, the thing that comes to mind is, if in fact we're going to be running either an at-home environment or an at-home workforce for our services employees or our professional services companies, or a hybrid environment continues for our manufacturing clients, what does that look like in terms of sustainability? And the thing that comes to mind for me is that it might just be time to start talking about how to work with our people, our processes, and our technology with a longer-term framework, a longer-term mindset in mind, something we weren't thinking about in March. I think most of people we were talking to were thinking very much on maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months, and now we're looking at what honestly could be closer to a year. And it's feeling a little more. The unknowns are feeling a little greater, is what the sense I'm getting from our clients. And so today I kind of wanted to just talk about and maybe have some honest conversations, and would love to hear from you and what you're thinking about how to create maybe a longer term vision for for most people, what a hybrid environment looks like, where some of our staff is at home and some of our staff is continuing to work on site in some way. At least that's the case for our larger clients. And so the thing I'm thinking about is on the people side, how do we continue to stay connected when Zoom fatigue is definitely setting in? How do we stay connected when we run a hybrid environment? Some people are on site, some people aren't. And so how do we continue to stay connected? One of the things we've seen from some of our clients is how do we keep the Zoom calls fun and engaged? And we've seen that connection and consistency remain top priorities in that context. And so one of the things we've seen one client do is on a weekly basis, just a quick stand up for them, it's within departments because they're a large company. But in departments, just doing a round robin, what's your biggest win this week and what's your biggest challenge? And encouraging people to talk professionally and talk personally. Sometimes those challenges are trying to manage more people at home and trying to work from home than we used to be. And so that's something that one idea a client has used. We've used that internally at site as well. But knowing that we're going to have to continue to find ways to connect, collaborate, and communicate in a remote environment, how to keep it fun, how to keep consistent, and just how to remain connected in all ways. On the process side, something that's coming up is, how do we adapt our core business processes, those business processes that help make us money and help save us money? How do we adapt those processes to be the most efficient and effective in this hybrid environment? So we talk about order to cash, we talk about procure to pay. How can we continue to make those and maybe take a look at those in a way that is a little more innovative and is with a forward look to being in the situation that we're in a little bit longer. Lastly, and this has come up a lot for our clients recently, which is how to make the technology as efficient and effective in a long-term way as we can. We've sort of everybody's moved to Zoom, and that seems to be, an effective way to stay connected, at least on a day-to-day basis. But we've seen a lot of some people have connectivity challenges. How do we ensure that we've got internet speeds boosted in people's home offices? How do we help our IT staff who might be working more remotely stay that way? A lot of times in the old days, and some of our clients even still are going back into the office and doing, server, working on servers and working on the network. And, all of that can be done remotely now if we're setting up our IT stack properly, and considering how to do that in a remote way. Lastly, and this has come up with our service clients, is it might be time to consider what divesting of our real estate platform looks like. So where we all used to congregate in offices, and we've got leases and buildings in play to do that. I know divesting is not a quick endeavor, but it might be something that we need to look at. I know I've been talking with some of our professional services companies about what remaining at home for the foreseeable future might look like. And so that's some of what we're talking about as well, that maybe when these leases are up, we don't renew them. And although that sometimes to some people can feel like we're tossing in the towel or giving up, for many of these guys, it's actually feeling like, how do we reduce our costs so that we can continue to be a going concern? And how do we continue to manage in the face of these challenges that we're in a way that allows us to just keep going? And now that we've proven we can do this remotely, maybe it, saving these costs, the time and the effort of the commute and of the brick and mortar, there's actually a win there for some of these companies. So, I'm encouraging people to just look at new and innovative ways to say, hey, if this is going to last a while, maybe, somewhat indefinitely. I hate to say that, and that's what we're kind of talking about these days. What are some important changes that we can make with a longer term future? So, I was hoping to say today, here's some things to think about when you pull your remote workforce back. And I think the reality of it is that people are pausing and kind of staying status quo. And so maybe it's time to start looking at what does a longer term hybrid or remote workforce look like. And so as you think about your people, processes, and technologies, where might you serve your people the best? Where might you make the most efficient and effective processes for the longer term in this situation? And then how do we optimize our IT stack for fast speeds in a remote context, and also so that we're not having to send people back into the office to do arbitrary repairs and server maintenance and things that we used to do on site and that we can now do 95% remotely. How can we do that? We've got a lot of resources and really some great professionals in our network, both within our firm and within our network. So if we can help you with any of these conversations, we would be just so happy to do so. Let us know. Otherwise, we wish you well and would love to hear from you, and how are you solving some of these important questions with a longer term view than maybe we would have expected initially. So with that, much love and be safe. We'll hopefully talk soon. Take care.